Hey, what's up guys, OSJ here with another 30 best games video, and this time it's a Mega Drive, or a Genesis for my American viewers. Sega Mega Drive was released in 1990 and is one of the best 16-bit consoles ever made, selling over 30 million systems in its lifetime. The games were a massive step up graphically from the 8-bit Master System, and with a huge catalogue there was something for everyone. This is one of the best lists I've ever made, as all of the games are brilliant. So here we have the 30 best Sega Mega Drive games ever made. In 30th place is Mortal Kombat. This is a class arcade part of one of the most popular fighting games ever made. I remember playing this on my Mega Drive after playing it on the arcade, and I have to say, it's pretty damn close.
Fight!
29th position is taken by Streets of Rage 3. This was the third installment in the series, and after the second game, it had a lot to live up to. Unfortunately, it never, but it doesn't stop it being a great beat 'em up still. Aladdin takes 28th place. There were some great Disney games on the Mega Drive, and for me this is the best of them all. The graphics are unreal, and it's actually like you're in control of the cartoon film that it's based on. The music is also a class. Mix that with some great platform action and you have one awesome game. In 27th place is Contra Hard Corps. This was number 1 on my hardest Mega Drive games video, and yes, it is hard, but it's also one of the best run and gun platform games ever. If you can handle the difficulty, this is a great game. '26th position is taken by Rash II. This game was like nothing else at the time. It's a sequel to Rash and improved on that game in every way, making this an excellent motorbike racing game with a difference. Oh, and the soundtrack was class. Rocket Knight Adventures is in 25th place. Absolutely massive game here with loads of different gameplay elements. The graphics are beautiful, the sound is great, and if you want a decent platform game that won't be over in a blink of an eye or get boring, then this is definitely one to check out. '24th place is taken by Revenge of Shinobi. This was the first Shinobi game that was developed for the Mega Drive, and it's a great run out for the ninja hero. Whilst it's not the best Shinobi on the list, it's still worth a play if you're into the Shinobi franchise. X-Men 2 Clone Wars is in 23rd position. This is a super slick, super fast paced platform game where we got to play as a range of our favourite X-Men. Not from the film though, as this was released some 5 years before we were trekked to the first X-Men movie. Still though, now that X-Men is a household name, this is a game that even kids today can relate to. In 22nd place is Shining Force. This is an action adventure game that pulls you into the game and keeps you entertained for hours. Now this is a game that is great if you are a fan of these games, but as this is my list, it's not high up. That doesn't mean it's not a great game though. I dare to bet this will be higher up on most people's lists. "21st place goes to another game that I just know people will be saying should have been higher, and that's ToeJam Earl. Again, this is a great action adventure game that a lot of my friends loved. I however didn't, but I have since learned to appreciate it. Phantasy Star IV takes 20th position, a classy looking RPG game that plays as good as it looks. Again, not really my genre, but I have to admit that this game deserves a place on the list. In 19th place is Super Street Fighter II. This is a Mega Drive version of a great arcade game, and whilst it's not as good as the arcade, or even the SNES version for that matter, it's still a good fighter, and the gameplay is on par with them both, I would say. Eighteenth place is taken by the absolute classic known as Golden Axe. Now any gamer who is worth his salt knows how big this game was when we were younger, and this was as close as it got to playing the arcade game in our homes, and what a game it is. NBA Jam is in 17th position. Being from the UK, basketball wasn't as big as it was in the US, but this game was literally everywhere in the arcades, and the Mega Drive version, whilst not looking as good as the arcade, had the same great gameplay.
Head fake. Puts up a brick. The turnover, he's on fire.
In 16th place is Mortal Kombat 2. I actually played this version before I played the arcade game, and I have to say that this is awesome. The graphics improved on the already great first games. It also had a bigger roster, although Liu Kang is always my go-to guy. All in all, this is an extra good fighting game for the Mega Drive.
Fight! Outstanding.
15th place is taken by Golden Axe 2, another run out for the Golden Axe trio and another improvement on an already great game. The gameplay, music and graphics are class on this game, and as usual it's best experienced in multiplayer. Streets of Rage takes 14th place. This was one of the best beat 'em ups ever when I first played it. The moves and gameplay were excellent, multiplayer was a must. Me and my mates spent loads of time on this game until the sequel came out, and then we never played it so much for obvious reasons. In 13th position is Gunstar Hero, super fast run and gun game that is one of my favourites in the genre. It is a massive game with class graphics, music and sound. The different weapons are brilliant and it has some of the most challenging end bosses ever. This is a great game. Twelfth place is taken by Earthworm Jim. This game was massive and on multiple systems, but I have to say that the Mega Drive version was my favourite. The cartoon-like graphics are excellent as you would expect from a Mega Drive, and the gameplay is awesome too. Robocop Vs Terminator is in 11th place. This is a game that has so far defeated me every time I've tried to complete it. The last boss is an absolute nightmare. Apart from that though, this is one of the best looking games on the system, and the music is on another level too. In 10th position is Shining Force 2. If you like Shining Force, then this was a super upgrade from that game. Everything was improved and what we got was an awesome action adventure game that would last a long time. Ninth place is taken by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist. I loved Turtles on the arcade, so it was great when this came out on the Mega Drive. While it's not as good as the original Turtles arcade game, or more so the SNES Turtles in Time, it's still a great game to play, especially in multiplayer, and it's one of my 9-year-old son's favourite games even today. Comix Zone takes 8th place. This is a game that I had never heard of when I first started my channel, but I think that was mainly down to the fact that when it was released I had moved onto the PlayStation. Anyway, it's a beat 'em up with a difference, as it totally takes place in the pages of a comic book. As you can see, the graphics are sweet to say the least, and it doesn't lack in the sound and gameplay department either. In 7th place is Shinobi III. Sega really pushed the boat out on this one and made a game that would decimate all other Shinobi games. It's not only the best Shinobi game on the Mega Drive, but I would say it's the best Shinobi game ever made. Now in 6th place is the first of the Sonic games on the list, so you can imagine that the top 5 is dominated by them. I know people may say that why have them all in, but they are all truly great games, so they are. Well, this is Sonic & Knuckles, which was the sequel to Sonic 3. While it's not my favourite Sonic game, it's got all the usual Sonic ingredients that make these games good. Sonic the Hedgehog takes 5th place. Probably the reason that most Mega Drives were sold, and definitely the reason I got one. I remember my mate had this, and I had a Master System at the time. This was like nothing I had seen before, it was so good, so I asked for one the following Christmas. Fourth position is taken by Castlevania Bloodlines. This is a classy looking platform game with roots from Nintendo. Eventually we were trekked to a Mega Drive outing of the franchise, and what a game they made. The gameplay, music and overall feel of the game just oozes the Castlevania that we all loved on the Nintendo. In 3rd place is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. This is a lot of people's favourite Sonic and it is a really good game. But I think that with all retro games, nostalgia always plays a big part in the order, and although this is visually and technically the best, I just don't get the feeling I get when I play Sonic 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was in 2nd place. I spent so much time playing this as a kid. I love the multiplayer split screen mode and all the levels were so well designed. It's a game that for me is timeless and it still plays exceptionally good even today. And now in 1st place is the Force de Triomphe known as Streets of Rage 2. After Double Dragon Arcade, this is my favourite beat 'em up of all time. If I had to pick a Mega Drive game that was the full package, i.e. looks, music, sound and gameplay, this one ticks all the boxes. This is a game that me and my son have completed multiple times and we never get tired of playing it. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed this detour from my usual C64 and Amiga videos. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite Mega Drive games are. And if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like my stuff. Till next time, this is OSG, signing out.